Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Gonna be giving you a preview for the Everton Manchester United game. It's on Saturday 12:30 kickoff at Goodison Park. It's likely Ole Gunnar Solsjaer will be sacked if Everton beat Manchester United. Now, we have lost our last two games against Istanbul, Başakşehir and Arsenal. As for Everton, they're sitting fourth in the Premier League. Everton have lost their last two league games. They lost to Newcastle and they lost to Southampton. But they have won 4 games in the league so far this season. You know, they've beaten Tottenham, they've beaten West Brom, they've beaten Crystal Palace, and they've beaten Brighton. Now, Everton have got a very, very good manager in Carlo Ancelotti. He's been at Everton now for almost a year. When Everton appointed him in, he signed a 4.5-year deal. Carlo Ancelotti has won around 15 major honours so far in his managerial career, so he has got a good pedigree behind him. Obviously, before Everton had Carlo Ancelotti, they had Duncan Ferguson in on a temporary basis. Before that, they had Marco Silva. They was actually very, very inconsistent under Marco Silva. Before, they've had Roberto Martinez. They actually did well under him. And as well, they had David Moyes. He endured around, 10 or 11 years with Everton. Now, Everton did make some good signings in the summer transfer window. They signed James Rodriguez. He's made a fantastic impact so far. I think he's recently been out with an injury. They also signed Decore. They also signed Allen from, Napoli? They also signed Ben Godfrey. I think he's a doubt for the game on Saturday because he's been out of injury. They signed Olsen as well on loan. And I think they also signed another player. I think we've got to watch out for Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He's the threat for Everton. Everton have also got Richarlison, who's good, but he's suspended for the game on Saturday. I think he got sent off in Everton's 2-2 draw with Liverpool. They've also got Bernard. They've got the likes of Sigurdsson. When Sigurdsson was at Swansea, he had a good goal-scoring record against Man United, didn't he? Don't forget. They've also got Andrea Gomez. I think he's been out with injury. They've got Lucas Digne, who's a very, very good left-back for them. They've also got Michael Keane, who's one of their centre-halves. He's a former Manchester United player. They've also got Yerry Mina in their team. Seamus Coleman is still at Everton. I think he won't be playing in this game because he's out with injury. Mason Holgate, I think he's also out with injury. And Gabimon, I think he's also out with injury. Everton have let quite a few players go in recent years. Obviously, they lost Idrissa Gueye. He went to PSG. I thought he was very, very good for Everton, Idrissa Gueye. He's the type of player that can break up the play well. They loaned Moise Kean out to PSG. They've loaned Theo Walcott out to Southampton. Don't forget they lost Lukaku back in 2017. We was the ones that bought Romelu Lukaku from Everton. We paid around, £75 million for him. there was 15 million in add-ons, so he'd risen it to 90 million pounds, and Lukaku did enjoy a couple of years with us, and now obviously he is at Inter Milan. Isn't there? Now, I do believe that Ole Gunnar Solsjaer is going to make changes from the 2-1 defeat to Istanbul Başakşehir recently. Now, I'm expecting David De Gea to return in goal. David De Gea was rested against Istanbul Başakşehir. It was Dean Henderson that was in goal against Başakşehir, and that was his Champions League debut for Manchester United. Dean Henderson will be our number one at some point, I do believe. At the start of this season, Dean Henderson signed a 6-year contract with Manchester United with around 120 grand a week. David De Gea, though, he has rejuvenated himself, and I've been impressed with him recently. This is David De Gea's 10th season at Manchester United. He has made over 400 appearances for the club in all competitions. 300 odd of those appearances have come in the Premier League. Now, when De Gea does leave Manchester United, I think he will go back to Spain. It was only last September he signed a 4-year deal with the club worth around £350,000 a week. But don't forget, he's won everything domestically at the football club, and he has won individual awards, reflects on his good performances over the years. I've been critical of David De Gea a lot because he's made calamitous mistakes, hasn't he, in the last couple of years. Now, I'm expecting Martial to start this game against Everton. Martial is now available because he has served his 3-match suspension. Martial did start against Istanbul Başakşehir. He was the one that scored our goal. I thought Martial was very, very good last season, and he was also very good in his debut season under the Louis van Gaal era. Martial's endured over 5 years now at Manchester United, hasn't he? Marcus Rashford, I presume he'll start this game. Marcus Rashford did start against Istanbul Başakşehir, and I thought he was very, very poor. And he wasn't too good against Arsenal, Rashford, but I thought he was good against RB Leipzig when he came on, because obviously he scored a hat-trick. He became the second Manchester United player to score a hat-trick as a substitute. Also scored the late winner against PSG. But he's still improved under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era, even though he hasn't been good in the last couple of games. Marcus Rashford has been part of the club for several years. You know, he's been a United player since the age of 7. And he's been in our senior squad since 2016. And Rashford recently turned 23 years of age. Now, Mason Greenwood, I'm expecting him to be involved in this game. Mason Greenwood wasn't too good when he came on against Istanbul Başakşehir. I think Mason Greenwood is the foreseeable future for Manchester United. Obviously, last season broke into the first team. This season's his second season in the senior squad. We had a few issues with Mason Greenwood at the start of the season because he was getting withdrawn from the England squad a few times, wasn't he? And in recent weeks, Ole has been defending Mason Greenwood, and he denied at one point that his timekeeping was poor. The start of the season, we give Mason Greenwood that number 11. He's the 4th Manchester United player to wear the number 11 shirt. Edinson Cavani, I don't think he'll start this game against Everton. Possibly could be involved though. So far, Edinson Cavani has made 4 substitute appearances for the club. So he's not yet started. We got Edinson Cavani on a free transfer on deadline day. and he signed a 2-year contract with the football club worth around 220 grand a week. Edison Cavani is our number 7, and he will emulate into the next Zlatan Ibrahimovic, won't he? But Solsjaer believes he will improve sooner rather than later. Now, Juan Mata, I don't think he'll start this game against Everton. Maybe he could be involved, like I said. Juan Mata did start against Istanbul Başakşehir, and I thought he was very, very poor. But to be honest with you, Juan Mata has done well in most of his games he's played this season. He did well in both of our Cowbell Cup games against Brighton and Luton. He also did well in the Newcastle game. Juan Mata's endured a good 6 years or so now at Manchester United. We paid just under £40 million for him from Chelsea back in 2014. He scored 50 goals for the club in all competitions since his arrival. And it was quite a few weeks ago now that Juan Mata had rejected an £18 million a year contract offer to play in Saudi Arabia. But I think now Juan Mata has lost that yard of pace because obviously he's ageing up. Now, Bruno Fernandez, I think he could be dropped for this one, to be honest with you. Bruno Fernandez was very, very poor against Istanbul Başakşehir. He got dispossessed 34 times in that game. And definitely his worst performance in a Manchester United shirt. There's been a couple of games where Bruno Fernandez has looked off the pace and he's lacked that composure, but in the vast majority of his games, he has been consistent, to be fair. Obviously, Bruno Fernandez has endured around 9 months with the football club. You know, last season won Premier League Player of the Month around 3 times, reflects on his good performances, and won the Matt Busby Player of the Year award. Not so long ago, Bruno Fernandez was talking about Paul Pogba, wasn't he? After the Tottenham game, was it? There was reports coming out saying that Bruno Fernandez had lost his faith in Solsjaer and he was demanding him out of the club and he was infuriated with the board and that. But it turns out that that wasn't true and, you know, Bruno Fernandez obviously denied the bust-up with Ole at that time. I think Donny van der Beek should be starting this game against Everton. Donny van der Beek has not yet made his full Premier League debut for the football club. We may not start him. He started against Başakşehir. That was his second start in the Champions League, and I don't think he was that good, to be honest with you. He lacked that creativity, and I was very infuriated when he got taken off, Donny van der Beek. Very infuriated. But I think he's going to be a good signing for Manchester United. Donny van der Beek started our game against Leipzig as well, didn't he? But prior to the Leipzig game, Ollie was talking about Donny van der Beek, saying that, you know, he will be an important player this year and he will play a big part. And he responded to the criticism of the use of Donny van der Beek because there's quite a few pundits and that don't think he's wanted at Manchester United. We paid £40 million for him from Ajax, and he signed a 5-year contract with the club with an option of a further year, and he currently wears that number 34 shirt. Now, Paul Pogba, reflecting on his recent form, does not deserve a start against Everton. We've been very, very critical of Paul Pogba recently. I thought he was poor when he came on against Başakşehir. He was poor against Arsenal. Paul Pogba was obviously the one that conceded the penalty and cost us the game because he brought Hector Bellerin down. Paul Pogba obviously apologised for the stupid mistake that he made. Now, analysing the vast majority of Paul Pogba's career at Man United, he's been very, very inconsistent, hasn't he? I think he's had a good couple of periods at the football club. Now, there's a lot of uncertainty regarding his future. To be honest with you, I think he'll leave the football club next year, will Paul Pogba. A few weeks ago, Paul Pogba made an admission saying that one day his dream is to join Real Madrid. I think he'll go to Real Madrid, to be honest with you. Last year, Paul Pogba said he wanted to leave Man United because he was seeking for a new challenge. There's obviously been rumours of Pogba going back to Juventus. He did enjoy 4 good years with Juventus. There's been rumours of Barcelona being interested in him, and so too PSG. He's in his 5th season at the club though since he rejoined. He's made over 100 appearances for us in all competitions. As it stands at the moment, he is our most expensive signing because we paid £89 million for him. Now, quite a few weeks ago, we triggered that 1-year extension on his contract, so that keeps him under contract at the club until June 2022. Fabrizio Romano confirmed this, but there has been no talks over getting him a new long-term contract. You know what I mean? So yeah, Solsjaer's got decisions to make, who he's going to go with in midfield for this game against Everton. Nemanja Matic, I can't see him starting this game against Everton. He did start against Besiktas, wasn't that good. Matic had lost his place in the team, didn't he? I wouldn't say he's a good player. He's not a bad player though. He's always been a slow player, hasn't he? Matic did have some good games though towards the end of last season. I will admit that. Was it at the start of this season? He signed a 3-year contract with Man United. We paid quite a bit of money for Matic. We paid £40 million for him from Chelsea. Now, Fred, I'm expecting him to start this game against Everton because he didn't play any part in the Besiktas game. Obviously, before the Besiktas game, I think Fred had started last, 4 or 5 games and did very, very well. He obviously wasn't good against Arsenal, gave the ball away far too many times, but I still think he's improved under Ole. We paid big for Fred. We paid £52 million for him from Shakhtar Donetsk. And he's got a contract with the club until 2023. Scott McTominay, now, he came on against Besiktas, but he didn't start. He could start this game against Everton. McTominay. McTominay is not world class. Is he good enough to emulate into a world class midfielder? McTominay has been part of the club for several years. Was it just after the first lockdown? He signed a 5-year deal with Manchester United, didn't he? Now, Luke Shaw, I think he'll start this game against Everton. I don't think Tellez is available, is he? Because not so long ago, Tellez got tested positive for COVID-19. And obviously he's had to self-isolate. I think Tellez is going to be having another test, and obviously that test has got to be negative. Tellez has obviously not yet made his Premier League debut for the club, obviously with him having COVID-19. But I thought Tellez was very, very impressive on his debut against PSG. That's one thing I will say. We paid around €15 million for Tellez, with add-ons included, and he signed a 4-year contract with the football club with an option of a further year. But yeah, Luke Shaw, like I said, he'll start, I think. Luke Shaw started against Besiktas, was poor. He did put some decent crosses in the first half. Obviously got the assist for Martial's goal. Luke Shaw's had some good games and he's had some bad games. My element of concern about him, though, is that he's injury prone. Harry Maguire should be starting this game against Everton. Harry Maguire wasn't too good against Besiktas, but in the last couple of games prior to the Besiktas game, he really, really rejuvenated himself, didn't he? Because Harry Maguire, don't forget, had early season troubles. Obviously, he had that incident in Greece the other month, but it's not affected him. He says, he's focusing on his football. He obviously got sent off in England's 1-0 defeat to Denmark. Obviously sustained a few knocks. We got Harry Maguire for £80 million. He's the most expensive centre-half in the world at the moment, and he is our current captain. Yeah. I think Tuanzebe will start because Victor Lindelof I don't think is available. It's been confirmed that Victor Lindelof has got a back injury. This is why he didn't play against Besiktas. I'd prefer Tuanzebe over Lindelof anyway. Tuanzebe obviously wasn't good against Besiktas. He was accountable for the first goal, but I thought Tuanzebe was very, very good against PSG. That game against PSG was his first start for Man United in 10 months. And Solsjaer, was it prior to the Chelsea game, he was talking about Axel Tuanzebe, and he's challenged him to add consistency, to ensure that he has a long career at Man United. Obviously, Ollie's just hopeful that he remains injury-free because he has sustained quite a few injuries, hasn't he? Wan-Bissaka, he'll keep his place in the team. He was very, very poor against Besiktas, like I said. His crossing was poor, his positioning was poor, and he was very, very poor on the ball. And he weren't too good against Arsenal. But in the last few games prior to the Arsenal game, he really, really did well. This is Wan-Bissaka's second season at the football club. We got him in a deal worth £50 million from Crystal Palace last summer. Now, Eric Bay, he's unavailable. He's out with a muscle injury for a few weeks. Ollie confirmed that last week, was it? And that's my element of concern about Eric Bay. He's too injury prone. Lingard, he's obviously been out with injury, but I think he's close to returning because Ollie confirmed on Monday he was training. But he doesn't get in the team now regularly anyway, Jesse Lingard. Phil Jones, he's been injured and he's had an operation. Solsjaer says Phil Jones could still play a part, maybe after Christmas or whatever. So, there you go. Dan James, I'm not expecting him to start this game against Everton. I'm not expecting Brandon Williams to start or be involved either. Brandon Williams has actually lost his place in the team since the arrival of Alex Telles. Be interesting to see what formation Ole Gunnar Solskjaer goes with in this game. Like I said, a lot of Manchester United fans have recently been wanting to see the diamond. Since Solskjaer got appointed in, he has gone a lot with that 4-2-3-1 formation, but that doesn't really seem to suit our standards. A few times he's gone with a 3-5-2. He's gone with a 4-3-3 a few times. Has he used the 3-4-3 before? I think he has. Against Besiktas, I think the formation we actually started with, was it 4-3? Oh, yeah, wait, I think it was... What was the formation? I think it was 4-3-1-2 or something like that. Yes, it was. But yeah, like I said, this is a must-win game for Manchester United. The game between Man United and Everton last season at Goodison was 1-1. I think the game at Old Trafford was 1-1. But we've lost at Goodison Park quite a few times in recent years. We lost there 4-0 back in April 2019. That was under Ollie. It's one of the heaviest defeats we've had under Ollie. We lost at Goodison 3-0 under the Louis van Gaal era. And we lost there 2-0 under the David Moyes era, didn't we? After Everton, it is the international break, isn't it? But we've enjoyed a very, very poor start to the season. We have not yet won a game at Old Trafford in the Premier League this season. And it's our worst start at Old Trafford for around 50 years. We have lost 3 of our first 6 Premier League games. And reflecting on this, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is under serious pressure at the football club. Now, obviously, Ole has been Manchester United manager for almost 2 years. So he's been with us now around 22 and a half months. He's been permanent Man United manager for around 19 months, hasn't he? And he's got a contract with the football club until 2022. But to be honest with you, I think Ole is in a position that he shouldn't be in. I think we did make a bad mistake by giving him the job permanently. But the main explanation we give him the job permanently was reflecting on what he did in that 3-month period when he was the interim manager. But I think we have made a lot of mistakes in the last 7 years or so, and that's one of the main explanations why we have been so inconsistent. But yeah, this is Ole's second full season at Manchester United. And I said, didn't I, at the start of this season, he's got to exceed his expectations to obviously remain Man United manager. And if we sack him, I think we'll have to pay around £4 million. Is Mauricio Pochettino, who is the favourite to replace Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at the football club. But there's a lot of problems at the club, there's problems with the manager, there's problems with certain players because, players have obviously been underperforming, and there's been problems with the board for several years, reflecting now part our recruitment policy's been. Woodward's been at the football club since 2012, and the Glazers have been at the football club since 2005. And I think in a lot of Solskjaer's games, he's been very tactically naive. You know what I mean? We are making plans for next year because obviously we're looking to make a few more signings next year. I still think we need a centre half and a right winger. We need to offload more players next year as well because he is still deadwood in the squad. But for me, Ole was not backed enough in the summer transfer window. And Solskjaer revealed quite a few times during the summer transfer window that he was very infuriated with the board. But I don't think any of our managers have been backed enough since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. Now, Solskjaer hasn't got that proven pedigree as a manager. Manchester United is the third club in his managerial career. Obviously, before he was with us, he was at Mould. He won a few Norwegian titles at Mould. They're not a big club either. And before then, he was at Cardiff. He endured a very, very short tenure with Cardiff. The main explanation he got sacked from Cardiff is because he ended up getting Cardiff relegated, Ole. But Ole's managed, is it 101 games now for Manchester United in all competitions. He's in the exact same position as what he was in at the first part of last season, because at the first part of last season, we enjoyed our worst start ever to a Premier League season. But there's not all negativity regarding Solskjaer. I've taken, positives from his tenure. I think he showed tactical flexibility in a lot of the big games. He's made some good signings since he came in. He's brought around 10 senior players in and spent over £200 million. He's endured 4 transfer windows. We've seen a lot of players depart the club since he got recommended in. We've had some good periods under him. I also like the way he's promoted the youth. I credit him for what he did last season. He got us qualification for the Champions League. Also got us third and guided us to 3 semi-finals. And last season was his first full season at the football club. So they are the positives. But Ole is our 4th permanent manager since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. We've sacked 3 managers since the Ferguson era, and that was Moyes, Louis van Gaal and Jose Mourinho. Now, don't forget, Ollie's inheriting a squad that is worth 700 odd million pounds, something like that. That's obviously disregarding who he's brought in. You know, Solsjaer's inheriting a lot of players here from the Jose Mourinho era. Still a few players here from the Louis van Gaal era. One player here from the Moyes era, and I think there's only a couple of players here now from the Sir Alex Ferguson era that are here. So there you go. But I just don't think we're ever going to be the team that was under Ferguson, and I don't think any manager at Man United will last as long as Ferguson did or replicate his legacy. And any man or no manager in general will do what Ferguson did. You know, Ferguson enjoyed 27 years at the club and he won a total of 38 major honours, including 13 Premier League titles and that. But Ferguson didn't settle in straight away because he didn't win out in his first 4 years at the club. You know, Jurgen Klopp, he didn't settle in straight away at Liverpool, but look how good he is now. But I just think Ollie's had enough time, you know, to get things right now. But I've been hearing that Man United will stand by Ollie because our chefs are happy with his work, what they've overseen, you know. It's not guaranteed he'll get sacked if we lose on Saturday to Everton, but there's a good chance that he could because I've been hearing rumours about it. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.